Welcome back. This Sunday, a special fundraiser is being held for the Livonia Public Library and the Livonia First Responder Association.
It's a one-man show called Here We Go, a tale of living, learning, and loving with brain cancer. It's being put on by Eric Goldstein, who joins us now. Thanks a lot for coming in here this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thank you very much.
So let's start off right now with talk about what you're dealing with, what kind of brain cancer you have, and where you are right now.
I have glioblastoma brain cancer. It's the deadliest brain cancer there is. I'd like to refer to it as the Tasmanian devil of brain cancers. That mixes, you know, comic and scary all at once, because that's how I roll. Mm-hmm. Where I am right now is I'm still here. I was diagnosed in April of 2020. I am eviscerating the odds by still being here. Statistics suggest that 18 months is the mean lifespan after diagnosis. Do the math. I'm at about 3 1/4, approaching 3.5 years.
I'm definitely glad you're here, yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, for sure.
And this has been quite the journey for you. Where did the idea come from, or the inspiration come from for this show?
I'm active in local community theater. One of my dear friends in that larger community, Sean Paraventi, another playwright, was communicating with me regularly in those early days after I got home from the hospital. And he would check in, I would explain to him what we were learning, what we were doing, how I was clawing back from the brain surgery and relearning how to use my body and all that stuff. And after a few months of that, he said to me, "Eric, you're doing such a good job explaining what you're learning, explaining what you're going through and what's happening. You ought to write a one-man play about it." You know, and Sean's, he's great. He's got a deadpan poker face. He does stand-up comedy. For all I knew, he was jerking my chain. So he said, "And I want to see a rough draft by, oh, I don't know, October 1st. I forget the deadline. I just made that up. And I said, "I'll show him. I'll do that." And I called him up and I said, "Okay, are you ready to read it?" And he went, "Oh," you know. But that was the root of Here We Go, and it turned into this project that we have now.
So you rely on your personal experiences to write that. Do you have any kind of acting background, or is this all new to you? I've
been engaged in local community theater since about 2011. I started off acting. I still act, but I write, I direct, I've produced, I've stage managed. You know, I've done everything there is to do back there. Sometimes not so good as others. But,
it's a learning process,
yeah,
right?
But it's a great thing, community theater.
And Eric, this is actually raising money. So tell folks how this is working to raise money and how they can help and get involved.
Well, we made a non-profit 501c3 called Here We Go, Inc. So we do our own private fundraising for the operating. We don't take any money from the fundraisers that we do. All of the money that comes into a fundraiser like this Sunday goes to the hosting venue. We don't take any of it ourselves. And in this particular one is for the benefit of the Friends of the Livonia Library, the Livonia Public Library system, their support group, and the First Responders Association that supports the firefighters and police officers of the city of Livonia.
You know, I'm kind of curious, how has this whole thing changed your outlook on life? Kind of give me an idea what you were like before the diagnosis and after. Has it totally, I mean, you seem to be dealing with it in a humorous way as well. Were you always a guy who relied on comedy, or is this something new?
I've always mixed lightness and goofiness with things. I've got a serious side. Like all of us, I have an angry and a dark side, you know. But I enjoy living better. I enjoy life better in the goofy side and finding the positives where I can. So I think, to get back to your question, yes, I've always kind of been cheerful, but the cancer did something to me incredible. It helped me realize that there are lots of aspects of me that I need to let go of to get out of my own way. I'm less micromanaging, I'm less trying to be controlling, I'm more trusting of the process, more collaborative, more trusting of other people, more patient, better listening. Boy, do I wish I could have done all that before the cancer, because I could have. And that's one of my generic messages There's nothing that I've done to improve myself since the cancer, since looking at my impending death at some unknown time in the near future. There's nothing that I have done now looking at that I could not have done earlier in my life. You guys get to do all that self-improvement and have a better time without looking at a deadly cancer.
Well, let's hope we realize that.
Yeah, let's hope so. And I'm assuming that that is really what you hope will be part of the takeaway for folks from the show.
Yes, it's not a preachy show. I was more preachy now than I am in the show. But yes, that is a good takeaway. One of the things I do get a little bit strong on the show at the beginning is talking about how our culture seems to be afraid of the word death and dying. And so much so that we don't want to talk about that. We layer it with euphemisms like passed away, gone home, those kinds of things. Okay, people got to live the way they want to live, the way they're comfortable living. But one of my messages is, if we acknowledge the reality of death as part of our everyday life, that everyday life gets richer and fuller by a factor of 10 or 1,000.
I mean, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, we keep ignoring something that we know is going to eventually happen.
Right.
So you're saying embrace it, and then you're living life more to the full. I'm a little curious. You know, I see you said you had brain surgery, and you have a certain kind of cap on, and it's connected to something. Do you mind telling us? I mean, I'm curious.
Sure.
What it is that's on your head and what's it connected to?
This is called an Optune device. It's manufactured by the NovaCure company, and it's a unique product. There's nothing else like it anywhere. Underneath this mesh, there are these 1970s era bathroom decal-like things. Okay, they have little transducers in them. What they're doing is they're emitting an electronic signal, oscillating it from the side to side and front to back, at such a high rate, it disrupts the mitosis of the tumor cells that remain in my brain, preventing them, when the field catches them, preventing the tumor cells from dividing. That's how it grows. Like all things, like in mitosis, the cells divide. This messes up the mitosis of the tumor cells. And if we're really lucky, it'll kill a tumor cell that it catches in the act of dividing.
And where are you right now in terms of your healing journey?
I'm glad you asked that question. I healed from the surgery a long time ago. I will not heal from the cancer. There is no cure. But where am I at in my journey is a wonderful question. I'm going forward. Every 60 days, I go in for an MRI to see if the remaining tumor cells have grown big enough to be detectable. And if they are, that's called a recurrence, and then life changes, because then we deal with that. That has not happened since the original surgery. Every 60 days I've gone in for an MRI wondering, is this going to be it? And coming out status quo. So my reality is either it's status quo or it's getting worse. And we've been having a lot of status quo.
That's good to hear.
That is wonderful.
I mean, do you find, when you talk about the resources, I mean, it's one thing physically for them to operate.
Right.
Mentally, have you been getting the resources to help your mental health as well? Because that's got to be a burden on your mental health.
Well, my family is a great support. My wife, my daughters, we have a great community of friends. The community theater rallied around, the community theater community rallied around me. I see, well, not see, I have a virtual visit with a therapist regularly. I am lucky, I am blessed to have these, this particular family, our community of friends, and the resources. So many people don't have that triple blessing that I have. So I just count myself so lucky.
Definitely sounds like you're a lucky man in certain aspects. Tell us when this play is going to get going, where people can see it. Give us a nuts and bolts.
It's going to be this Sunday, 2 o'clock, at the Livonia Bennett Library Auditorium. It's at 5 Mile and Farmington in the Civic Center of the City of Livonia.
And there you see the details on your screen there. Eric, thank you very much for coming in and sharing your story and your journey.
Thank you very much for having me.
We appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Time for a quick break here on CBS News at 8. We're back in a couple of minutes with your top headlines.